Hi, my name's Alan Sens, and I'm standing outside the Museum of Anthropology here at the University of British Columbia. Welcome to the Global Politics Instructional Video Series. In these videos, we are exploring some of the key concepts and ideas in the study of global politics and international relations. Today, we're looking at interdependence. And interdependence is an important concept for us in a number of different ways. First of all, it's a key component of political liberalism, one of the main theories of international relations. Second, the whole idea of interdependence is wrapped up with this notion of a globalizing world. So the whole idea of globalization is a big part of this discussion. And another reason why interdependence is so significant is that liberals tend to argue that a more interdependent world will be a more peaceful world and a more prosperous world. And I think we'd all like that. So why don't we have a look at this idea? Okay, interdependence. Now, there are a lot of definitions of interdependence, and you can look up and use any one you like, but we are going to define interdependence as the mutual connectedness and dependency of states and non-state actors. And this definition is revealing in a number of different ways. And it's a very big part, this whole concept of interdependence is a very big part of the liberal school of international relations. And what I'm going to describe to you today is very much how liberal theorists see the world. So let's draw a system. So here's our international system, and I'm going to populate it first with a number of states of varying size and power. And the first notable thing about interdependence and the liberal theory of interdependence is the idea that, first of all, states are not the only actors. And that's significant because the idea is that there are a number of different types of actors that are important in global politics, not just the state. So, for example, they argue that multinational corporations are very important and need to be represented in our view of the international system. So I'll just go draw a number of multinational corporations for us here, and I will represent multinational corporations with a square box. Another actor of importance are non-governmental organizations, or NGOs. And these are not-for-profits, professional associations, and so on, that also have very important roles in global politics. Amnesty International, for example, or Greenpeace come to mind. And I'll represent NGOs with a triangle. So we also have NGOs as actors in the international system. And then lastly, there are a whole series of international institutions in global politics. The European Union, the United Nations, the International Coffee Association, and a whole variety of them. And I'll represent those with a star. So here are some of our institutions of various kinds. And so you have a system that's populated with more than just states. You have states and non-state actors being important in the system. And the whole idea, then, is that all of these actors are interconnected in some way. And they're interconnected through a variety of channels. Trade, financial flows, travel, and communications. And taken together, all of these means or ways in which actors are interconnected in the international system, trade, finance, travel, and communications, mean that the international system is characterized by a web of interconnected relationships, all of these actors are connected to each other in this complex, ever-shifting, ever-growing international network of states and non-state actors, with trade flows, financial flows, people traveling by planes and boats and automobiles, and of course, modern communications technology, all of them linking all of these actors and all of these states together. The result, of course, is that state borders are increasingly permeable to all of these methods of interconnection, and we have more and more non-state actors engaged in this kind of an international system. And it doesn't mean, of course, that all of these links are exactly the same. Many liberals make the argument that these relationships are not necessarily all symmetrical. That is to say, they're not all equal. Some countries, some non-state actors may be more dependent than others on these links and these connections. Other countries, other international actors may be more vulnerable to the breaking of these networks or risks or threats to those networks than others. But the bottom line is that this interconnection has been steadily growing, and the whole idea of interdependence is that it is a force for positive change in the international system. The development of all these non-state actors and the ways that they are connected with each other and with states means that states and all actors in the international system are benefiting from closer ties. This is promoting more and more international cooperation, and this world, as a result, will be a more peaceful world and a more prosperous world. Okay, that's interdependence. Now, it sounds good, doesn't it? But not everyone agrees. Realists, for example, make the argument that it's not an interdependent world at all. It's a world of sovereign states living in an international anarchy, and therefore they're all distrustful of one another and cooperation is very difficult. Marxists and dependency theorists make the argument that liberals have got it all wrong. Interdependence is not about mutual cooperation. Interdependence is actually all about dominance and exploitation, that liberals are mistaking the way the world runs for some sort of mutually cooperative environment, when in fact it's really characterized by control and the dominance of a few powerful elites and states. But however we feel about interdependence, there's very little doubt that it's a critically important concept for us. And the whole idea that we are in a globalizing world is in large part built on the idea of interdependence. I hope you enjoy this video. Join me again next time.